Hello, hello, and welcome to episode 23 of the Anatomy Podcast. I am your host, Sean Cross. This episode, we ended up chatting with Jerik and Jai from Golgothan, a band that's been around for quite a bit of time now in the Louisiana scene, and a swamp metal band. But as far as their vocal capabilities are concerned, definitely, well, as far as Jai's vocal capabilities, as well as Jerik's vocal capabilities are concerned. So yeah, both of them. Definitely comparable to that of Dying Fetus or Infant Annihilator, Angel Maker, Despised Icon, all of those bands. I, hands down, really enjoyed our conversation. We ended up talking about their story as musicians growing up, in which that was really fun. We went into a religious bit, and this was actually the first Anatomy Podcast session to incorporate and include an Under the Skin session for their newest album, Leech. Hope you guys enjoy. This is the Anatomy Podcast with Jerik and Jai from Golgothan. But, ladies and gentlemen, courtesy intro and all that, thanks to the vocalist here, Jai, right?
Jai.
Jai. Okay, so Jai, all thanks to him, we have a pretty spicy intro. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Welcome back to the Anatomy Podcast, in which this episode, honestly, I am excited to be getting out as soon as possible. There is an episode I did previously with No Existence, helping them premiere their new vocalist, but I'm going to keep the details of that closed until they give me the green light. Then I'll upload, and then you guys will know. But welcome back. It's very awesome to be back. And after quite a bit of time of having to reschedule because of me moving or because of work schedules between me, Jai, and Jerik, like it's been fun. It's been nice and complicated, but we're finally here. Super excited about this. It is currently 6:39 p.m. on the 17th of May. And like I said, Jerik and Jai from Golgothan, right?
Golgothan.
Okay, so Golgothan, a Louisiana swamp metal band, which I would argue is like a new, fresh version of Infant Annihilator, whether the vocal style or even like the visual aesthetics and the costumes, which reminds me hella of Mushroom Head, but better. We are here to interview also our first Lacerated Enemy Records band, which is super cool. It's nice to branch out from Unique Leader Records and now Reality Fade Records, with upcoming artists like Vile Impregnation, who just released their new album Slave. Keep an eye out for that. Gentlemen, how are you doing tonight?
Not bad, man.
Yeah, I'm good, man.
Sick. So, as you guys know, we have a formula, but I mean, this is episode 23 officially. So I think you guys are more, the audience, you guys are more than aware of the formula we have. First half the people, second half the band. So, without delaying at all, we are going to jump into the story of Jai and Jerik. Basically, one of you, doesn't really matter which, go ahead and start us off. Tell us a little bit about yourself, your surface, role in the band Golgothan, and we'll go from there.
Jerik, you start.
All right. I started playing like 13, 14, something like that. Had a buddy down the road that played guitar, and he was playing Lamb of God and Black Dahlia and all that, and I was like, I gotta get in on this. So I picked up bass, and I play guitar every now and then too, but that was my first instrument, I guess, getting into, especially metal.
Right.
And then just kind of played throughout the years. Music taste got heavier, I think, as you grow, and keep listening to metal. It just gets to the point where you just listen to gurgles at a certain point, and you're like, fuck yeah. And then I met Jai whenever I think I was 18, and 18 or 19, something like that. And I was probably 2007, 2008.
It had to be.
Something
It would have to be 2008 or 2009 because I met you when I was already in college. I graduated in 07.
Okay. Yeah. So it was something around there.
Shit.
And we just from each playing in different bands, we met each other. They were looking for a bassist, and I went try out. I played guitar. Well, I played a guitar part on bass to try out, just to try to make sure. And then that was our old band, and then just from there, that band broke up. Things happen, and we continued to play together. And 10, 12 years later, something like that. Longer than that. Yeah, we've still just been playing in a band together.
Yeah, no, that's fucking sick. And especially when you have history with your fellow musicians in the project, it's always nice to continue that legacy and decide to start a new chapter, because there are actually so many bands,
Right.
whether bigger or smaller, in the community that have been on this podcast who share the same story. They started out in these other projects, and then they're like, not everything's working out. Creative differences, members like having issues of their own, details that they did not disclose because those are people's lives. So then they start with the newer project and they get more established, they get more comfortable, more grounded, and just kind of shoot off from there, which is always an interesting story. So real quick, Jerik, obviously it's pretty evident that you are the bassist for Golgothan, but you were also the backup vocalist, which I think is really interesting. So I actually did my homework today, right before we're doing this interview, really. And I checked out Leech for the first time because I have so many other bands I listen to and so many bands to interview. So I check out their shit as well. So like me personally, I wasn't able to like pick out anything, but did you have any backup vocals on Leech?
Oh yeah, the entire record. Anytime you hear two vocals, I'm always the high.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Yeah. So, and just me and Jai's vocal styles, it's similar but different. Jai has more of a. I love Jai's vocals. That's why. I mean, obviously, I've been pumped on being in a band with him since forever. Even whenever he showed me, I remember this. We were in an old project together when it broke up. Jai showed me, and a song that was on our first album. Called The Lycan Prophecy, and I lost my fucking mind hearing it. I was like, "This dude, we gotta do this, man!" And originally it was gonna be him doing lows and me doing highs, kind of like a dying fetus type of thing,
Oh, okay.
And but then Jai he could handle both, and then decided to just do vocals because after hearing the album, I'm sure his vocals are all over the place,
yes.
And it's a constant, So it definitely needs a vocalist, and Jai definitely goes above and beyond in my opinion. And but I mean, I still, especially for live, and I think just the tad differences in our vocals. Jai is more of like a gurgle. I have more of a black metal, more crispier fry type of high.
Very more compressed for sure. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
And so it gives like a little versatility every now and then, if certain parts I'll have, especially on older EPs, I've had parts where it was just me for a second or two, just to give a little difference or another vocal in there. But anytime you hear two, those are mine.
Sick. No, that's awesome. And I guess I do need to listen to the record more, because at first I'm like, okay, this definitely sounds like one guy, but there are two vocalists. And I was also, I have the match up right now, just pause, but I was like playing zombies, Cold War zombies while I was listening to this record. I'm like, this is fucking sick. So like, to say the least, I'll definitely have to listen to it more and more as time passes. But yeah, by all means, all due appreciation for the intro so far. And Jerik, as you guys are listening, he's the bassist, he's the backup vocalist. So now we kind of transition up to Jai. So tell us a little bit about yourself. I know you boys are both from Louisiana, which is super fucking cool. And, I am just one state above y'all. So I'm like, I gotta stop by Louisiana now, because Cane Hill's down there. You got you guys. And I have yet to really dig into the Louisiana scene, but I'm sure there are a lot of gems, a lot of diamonds in the rough down there in the deep swamps. Not that it's Florida, but pretty close to it, or at least that's my experience coming from the West, moving here from Arizona in January, and first summer here in Tennessee is getting pretty stuffy, but I'm loving it so far. So Jai, basically tell us a little bit about yourself, how you got into vocals, where you grew up, how that it kind of influenced the way that you approached music, all that fun stuff.
Yeah, so I speak for Jerik as well on this one. We now live in Lafayette, which it's a city,
right?
A city it's more of a city vibe than where we both grew up. Like,
it's a college town.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
I grew up in I had a house and 3 fields like all around it, and then like a highway. And I'm pretty sure it's the same for Jerik, because we grew up in kind of in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, no, it's like very, very rural, just cornfields and shit all around our houses.
Literal farms and shit. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, once we both got to college and we kind of moved out on our own, we both kind of moved into the city more.
Yeah.
We live like 3 miles apart.
Yeah, but yeah, growing up younger, it was just nothing around. So it's, it kind of forces you, or you got to find shit, and there wasn't phones and things like that back then. So, just, I don't know, run around the fucking field or do whatever. Yeah. And then I always wanted to play drums, like since I can remember. And my family didn't have a lot of money. My mom didn't have a lot of money. It was just a single mom raising us, my sister and I. And I cut grass. I cut 2 acres of grass. I push cut it and weed eat every 2 weeks and get paid $20. And then eventually got a drum set and started playing on that. And then eventually I got a guitar for $15 with an amp. It was a first act from one of my friends.
Oh, okay.
Vocals didn't come way later, and shit, when was vocals? Like 2009, probably, whenever I started to get interest in it, from Cattle Decapitation, the Harvest Floor album, and Jerik, what was that fucking band?
Oh, Shadow of Colossus.
Shadow of the Colossus.
There's a band called Shadow of the Colossus?
Yeah. All their songs are after the video game.
After the game.
It was
That's
fucking awesome.
Sick.
Yeah, they never really got huge. They're from California, I believe. They never got huge, but man, we both love them, and like their vocals are so sick. It was the first time I heard vocals, it was like, man, this just sounds like a monster. Like I wanna, try my hand in that, because I can't sing for shit. So yeah, started there, and then Trevor from Black Dahlia Murder too was a huge influence, and I didn't realize how much of an influence he was until recently when he passed. Unfortunately.
Yeah. Rest in peace.
Yeah, man. He was the first time that I heard somebody switch between high and low.
Yeah, seriously.
Like that. I just imagine like 2 demons arguing, or having like an argument or something.
Exactly, bro.
I love that, and just the silliness of it doesn't have to be super serious. Yeah.
And here's a funny thing too, like kind of commenting on bands and stuff in general. I remember there was a point I thought Angel Maker was one vocalist, and I'm like, how the fuck does he have this much like breath control? I don't know if you guys are familiar with the band by any means.
I've heard of them, but I don't know any songs off the top of my head. I need to check them out.
Yeah. Right. No, it's great. They've actually they're now 3 vocalists basically. And one of their guitarists is actually the vocalist of Carcosa, if you know that band.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he joined recently. He actually joined on the Sanctum album cycle, and like it's weird. So now they have 3 guitarists, or I think it might be 3 guitarists, a bassist, a drummer, and then the boys Mikey, the boys Mike Greenwood and Casey Jones. and they just do vocals, and there's just so fucking many of them, and they keep growing. And I'm like, how many are y'all gonna have? Are you gonna become a Slipknot or some shit? Like, come on.
You're gonna be an orchestra by the end of the day.
Yeah, seriously. But no, absolutely. After, you know, me hearing Threat Level number 3 by the Black Dahlia Murder, I know that that was my start with them. And I'm like, holy shit, how is this dude doing so much? And like the lyrical content of that song, I'm like, who the fuck is this band? But by all means, sorry, I didn't mean to like kind of jab in, but you were saying, Mr. Jai.
Oh, I mean, yeah, I guess that would be kind of the end of the short journey, the short explanation of it.
Right.
And
right.
From there, you know, formed Jerik and I's old band that we were playing in. I played guitar in that band, but kind of started to get into like wanting to do vocals. So I started writing stuff on my own, just programming drums and writing guitar parts, and just so I can do some vocals, some original vocals, because I was at that point covering, like I was, you know, in my car on the way home from work at night.
Yeah,
just learning lyrics to songs that I liked, Job for a Cowboy and stuff like that, and vocals that I like. And I wanted to try to like do my own instead of mimicking other people. So I started messing with that on the side. And Jerik and I have just not only been in bands together, but we got really close pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And so like I can always show him something, and he can, even if it's the shitty like rough skeleton of something, he can see the bigger picture. So,
right. No, that's always good.
Yeah, so there's a lot of camaraderie between us too.
That's good, man. That's solid. Like, hands down, getting my own project together recently, I kind of wish that I was able to become a band with my friends, despite even their difference in musical background, like preferring lighter Breaking Benjamin level rock instead of Infinite Annihilator level deathcore. Like, dude, a part of me absolutely wishes that I could have influenced and convinced my brethren, my dear brothers. Shout out to all of them, whether Josh, Riley, Tristan, Cole, any of you guys, love you guys. I kind of wish I could convince them to get into music on the level that I'm at least trying to be passionate about. But I wanted to kind of rewind a little bit and pry in very gentle ways about your background in doing guitar and drums, Jai, because that is super intriguing to me. Like, it has me begging the question if you've ever like, do you help with the writing process on any of the Golgothan songs as far as like guitar or drums? Or
yeah I mean, we all do in ways, but yeah, there are certain songs where I'll program the drums and just write stuff for fun and send it to the guys, and, you know, what do you guys think about this? And if they like it, we'll use it. And if they don't like it, we won't use it. Or sometimes they like one part, so we'll just kind of take a little snippet and insert it into something else. Or
absolutely.
But yeah, before we had members, I had written the first EP, and that's how I got the members.
Right.
By showed Jerik, I showed it to a bunch of my other friends, and you know, slowly certain friends that played instruments that could pull it off were like, dude, I want to play in this. And so that's kind of how it started.
Well, that's always no, that's fucking sick, dude. Like, the fact that you kind of did a Caleb Shomo and programmed and wrote a whole bunch of shit on your own. And then, you know, on top of that, you have one of your best friends joining you along for the ride with Golgothan.
Yeah.
And, you know, over time, you managed to pull the rest of the lineup in. I mean, that's sick. I wish I had I wish I had the instrumental capabilities and instrumental skill to do that type of shit, or at least not just yet, but maybe down the line. Because I'm having a guy by the name of Alex Sevigny helping me crank instrumentals and programming all that shit. And then he's going to send an instrumental over to me, and basically I'm just going to throw it out into the wild. Anybody who wants to play it, quote, like, let's figure something out. And sometimes that's how you do it. And sometimes you pull a Jai and you just fucking write everything on your own. You program everything on your own. And then again, you got one of your buddies already with you, just like, let's do this, man. I mean, that last band didn't really work out, but Golgothan or whatever. Maybe there were earlier names before Golgothan. You're just
There
like,
actually was. Yeah, we were Gut Wrench, and then we found out there were a bunch of Gut Wrench bands.
oh,
So we
nice.
switched it to Golgothan. And also, disclaimer:
Yes.
I programmed I can play drums, but I programmed the drums because I could not play as much. Like since I started playing drums,
Right.
or since I found out about Slipknot, I'd wanted to play metal, and I'm not good at metal, and I want to be, but I can't.
Right.
So yeah, like I didn't actually perform any of the stuff. And
No.
even the guitar parts, I wrote it just like I can. I've been recording for a while, so I can do some trickery with writing the guitar parts and not actually being able to play them cleanly.
Right.
So I did a lot of that, and just knowing like, well, if anything happens from it,
Mhm.
the guitar players that we get will be able to.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, just disclaimer there.
Yeah, of course. And by all means, like even if it's not you being able to perform it live or even perform it on a natural instrument, I guess, like that's still actually really, really impressive. Like the fact that you kind of got all this, that you got all that figured out, you got all the crammed together, and you managed, like, I don't know how quick the process was per se to get the rest of the lineup, but like just everybody, the rest of the band, like, hey, I like this. Let's do this shit. Instead of like, hey, we need to tweak this guitar line a bit, but I can see what you're going with. Like, let me jump in. Or at least that's the impression I'm getting so far. Like that's impressive nonetheless. It's cool. So
there wasn't a lot of that and surprise. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you're good. You're good.
There wasn't a lot, especially with drums, and now we're on our third drummer. And the parts that I have written and programmed the drums, like there will be times where they're like, and I'll program some ridiculous shit. Like, I don't think anybody's gonna be able to play this, whatever, it sounds cool. And they'll just be like, no, I'm gonna play that. I was like, okay. And they've done it. So kind of looked out on that. And there's not a whole lot of fast drummers around here. Louisiana's kind of a slower metal state. I guess the humidity, I don't know.
Everything's heavy.
It's not fun playing fast music around here.
We're all tired after eating like a rice and gravy and stuff all day.
Exactly. Yeah.
No, definitely. And I don't know, maybe if there's anything to compare between Tennessee and Louisiana, because like we're like not completely. Actually, I just realized this. Alabama's below us, and then it's Louisiana. Jesus, I need to use my fucking brain sometimes. But like, if there's anything to compare between Tennessee and Louisiana, like any of these eastern states, is that there's a lot of farm property, a lot of green, but in the summer, fuck man, you're done. Like it's really warm.
That's already bad.
Yeah. It's nice and musky out here. And I'm sure it's even worse for you guys down there because you're closer to the equator.
Yeah, we have the humidity, like the heat index. So like if it's 99 degrees, it'll say, like, if you look at it, it's like 99 degrees, but it feels like 108 because it's like you literally feel like you're in like a fucking convection oven when you walk outside sometimes. Yeah.
Well, that's a good reminder for me not to go down there during the summer. Maybe in the fall.
Yeah, it's already getting bad.
I can see it too. I can actually see it visibly right now. But yeah, no, that's awesome. And just like kind of getting associated and familiar with where you guys are from. You guys said that people don't really like to play fast down there. So speaking on the Louisiana scene, are there any bands you guys have known in the past or known recently, maybe friends and buddies in the music scene that have been cranking out that you guys would want to give a brief shout out to, or just any diamonds in the rough out down there?
Yeah, there's some that play fast. It's just like, I don't know. I think the younger group of metalheads goes faster route, but like, most of the bands known from Louisiana are like, Crowbar and stuff like that are just a little bit slower paced.
God.
Yeah.
And down.
Okay. Yeah. But yeah, no, there's first one that comes to mind for me is Wasted Creation, Capra also.
Yeah, Capra's on Metal Blade. They're like hardcore type of stuff. They're pretty fast.
Yeah, pretty fast, spastic. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. So Capra, so I'll do apologies. What were the other bands you listed? Like Wasted something?
Wasted Creation.
Creation.
They're from, so Capra's a little bit more, I wouldn't say more on the hardcore side, but they're not like on the death metal side as much, but Wasted Creation is a little bit more on the death metal side.
Right.
Yeah, but there's quite a few now. There just wasn't for a while. Christworm, but Christworm is definitely not.
They're kind of doom. Yeah, they're doom.
Christworm is amazing, but yeah, if it's speaking on the slow side, they definitely fall in that category.
Right.
They're super heavy. Good buddies of ours too.
That's good. Shout out to them for sure. And Christworm definitely sounds like a more just Christworm. Like
that was fuck.
Dun, dun,
Yeah.
dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. It's just 3 dudes too. It's one guitarist and he plays through bass rigs and a guitar rig.
Yeah, he's got a wall.
Sound is massive.
Yeah, they're awesome.
No, that's sick. And then Crowbar, I've actually heard about before. I have never listened to any of their music, but I've definitely heard of them. So
and Goat War is black metal.
Oh,
yeah, they're faster.
Yeah, and they're from New Orleans.
Oh, sick. That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, like quite literally, this is a good time for me to dig into that scene because literally the only band I know from Louisiana other than you guys is Cane Hill, and I've been listening to them for years now.
I think Bima was in Cane Hill, right?
Yeah.
It's a guy that we used to know. He was in a bunch of other bands, but I think he formed Cane Hill, or he was part of forming.
I don't know if he's in it anymore though.
Yeah, I don't think so because it's currently Elijah. There's James, Ryan, and Devin. I think it's a 4-piece, and they just got they just got signed to like a new music label and stuff like that. I think it's more independent. It's more like, hey, this band's out there and they've been around for a long time. What the fuck are you like? Why are you sleeping on this? But it's pretty cool. And definitely have been a fan of them for hella long. So shout out to them if they ever happen to check out this podcast episode. Love you guys. So with that in mind, we currently have 3 minutes and 30 seconds before the first half of the session comes to a close. But I wanted to let's see. I'm trying to figure this out. I guess obviously I can tell the details of the former band are something you guys do not want to disclose, and I have all the respect for that. So
no, we can.
We just had people move. Yeah.
It really just came down to like buddies moving. And actually the second drummer that we had was the drummer for the former band. It was called This Horrible Machine.
Oh, okay, cool. No, that's dope. So in that case, kind of digging into that story a little bit, you had friends move, you had comrades move, things just getting switched around. What was the creative reasons, and like was there like just a different creative atmosphere migrating from this older project to Golgothan?
The older project was a little bit more serious, I'd say, which was fine, but it kind of started to get to a point where we were on a management team, which we won't disclose, but they were
of course
better, well-known management team, and they kind of fucked us over. And I think after that happened, we lasted about a year after that trying to still go, but I think we're all a little defeated. And then like members started to think about, I might move here because I'm not making any money and have this job opportunity and kind of thing. And Jerik and I stayed behind. But other than that, it was like Golgothan was more fun. Like we don't have to take ourselves so serious. It's not we weren't like tough guys or anything like that in the other band, but it was definitely a little bit more emotional and serious, and Golgothan's more a little B-horror kind of vibe. Yeah.
No, I'm
at least that's my take, Jerik.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, this band was, I mean, like originally we were going to do new costumes all the time just to have fun with it. But we, that's harder than it. whenever you say it, it's fun, but doing it's not that simple. So we just like stick to cycles or whatever, suits our fancy at that point.
Absolutely.
And we knew it was going to be fun. Like we just wanted to, hang out, write some fun death metal and, party.
Yeah, no, that's the vibe. And we'll definitely be asking some questions about the creative input and like how the costumes and stuff came about. Cause like, I think with Slipknot and Mushroomhead in the community, Golgothan is one of the only bands I know who goes absolutely 1,000% with their costumes. Like, I've seen the costumes, they look great. But absolutely, we will be continuing the session when we get back. It breaks and all that. So sorry for the pause, and we shall be right back, people. All right, folks, sorry about the pause. We are back. And with the first half of the podcast session concluded, we now move on to the second half. Of course, we will be asking about the costumes and all that fun stuff. So we will be, jumping into all the fun, juicy questions about Golgothan. First question being, of course, what was the reason, before the costume question, of course, what was the reason that you guys ended up deciding on the name Golgothan?
Just because gut wrench, or other gut wrenches, and we, I think Jai came up with. You just looked up lists of demons, right?
Yeah, I really liked gut wrench as a name, because it kind of signified we were kind of going to be like a horror kind of style, and then after we found out that gut wrench was taken, I was just really adamant on getting another name with a G, because I felt like it had some kind of like menacing sound to it. So
yeah,
and so I started looking in, just doing research, and Golgothan kind of, well, it had 2 G's. Okay. Golgothan, and it's a shit demon. So it's from Dogma. It's a demon made of human shit. So I was like, this is perfect. So yeah, that was pretty much it on that
one. No, that's amazing. So is this pulled from like the Dante's Inferno continuity, or like are there any specific narratives it's pulled from?
It's just the movie Dogma. Yeah,
Kevin Smith's movie.
Oh, okay. Well, that's great. That's amazing. And it does have a ring to it. I always thought it was like kind of an easy goblin vocal word too, like Golgothan, like that type of shit.
Yeah, every time we play live, I speak in that kind of voice the entire time in between songs. Like, I don't try not to break character.
That's cool.
And yeah, so Golgothan is always like a good way of saying it.
Yeah, no, that's sick. That's sick. So to answer that question, it is a shit demon, but that's actually pretty funny. It kind of plays upon that less serious, less tense vibe that you guys got going on about you too. Because you mentioned that it was a demon name. I'm like, oh shit, maybe this is like one of the secret kings of a certain circle. No, it's a shit demon. I love that.
But it's a shit demon made from the excrement of the people of Golgotha, which is where Jesus was crucified.
Oh, okay.
So it's got that aspect of it too.
There you go. There's a little bit more lore to it. No, that's cool. I didn't even know I didn't even know they knew the name of the city he was killed in, right? You said killed in? Or crucified in?
Yeah, he was crucified. Yeah, in Golgotha. Yeah.
Shit, no, that's dope. And if you guys ever want to like establish a little fan base or little group for your fans, like Golgotha instead of Golgothan, or like the Golgothans, that's actually super cool. So with that in mind, that answers your question, audience. For those who do follow the podcast, because if you have been listening to the podcast, we are of a kind of comparing wavelength, and that's always like my first thing to ask bands. But now we ask about the costumes. So what was the decision? What was the mindset on the costumes? Because I remember you mentioning not too long ago that Slipknot kind of got you into doing metal drums, but you're like, dude, I can't fucking do that. So, you ended up programming the EP, and, as much as you would like to play that, you're not able to do that yet. And that's completely fine, because you're a killer vocalist and you have really good energy about you. You seem like a pretty awesome dude. And I mean, that's basically all I got going for me, is that I'm a nice guy who is decent at doing vocals. But what was the mindset behind the costumes?
For me personally, and Jerik can do his take on this, but for me personally, it was one, Slipknot, and 2, Gore. I remember the first time seeing Gore, like just realizing they existed, and I was like, this is fucking amazing. Like and just Cradle of Filth, bands like that. And just growing up on horror, like my dad let me watch horror movies when I was way too fucking young, and I had nightmares and shit. And like thinking back on it now, I'm just like, you know, it kind of molded who I am for better or for worse. So
Right.
I just love horror, and you know that just adds to it. And
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
that seems to be the right mindset, because even Dickie Allen, when people ask him about Infant Annihilator and the process, the creative process behind starting that band, he's just like, I like horror movies and I like the idea of concentrating that into music, or at least trying to. And I think they've done that pretty well. So just like them, you guys have done pretty well with capturing that, whilst also kind of just having fun with it and talking about a whole bunch of stuff, because there is actually so much on the Leech album. And if you guys want to, I'd be more than happy to discuss that at some point tonight. Just
Sure.
like digging under the skin of Leech, because listening to the record, I'm like, okay, so there's Mothman on the front. You got this little character going on, or what seems to be Mothman. I could be wrong.
It's a gigantic mosquito, which is Louisiana. To you know, mosquitoes are a bitch down here.
Yeah.
So
That,
They
you know what?
suck.
That makes sense. That
they suck ass.
I'm kind of. What's up?
And mosquitoes are more likely to bite people that have been drinking alcohol, which we also drink a lot of alcohol down here. In Louisiana,
Every person in the
it
band, yeah.
sucks. Yeah.
All right. Well, I mean, yeah, there you go, people. A little surface level imagery analysis for you. But Jerik, did you have any difference in the creative output as far as the costumes or the costume decisions?
No, I want to say that was pretty right away. I want to say it was like oh, we're doing costumes. I don't remember.
Yeah, but you've had creative input on like where the costumes go for sure.
Yeah, like as they've I mean, to where we are now and stuff like that. Yeah. Especially for like the new ones, we wanted to do like a swamp theme.
Yes,
you
of
know,
course.
Louisiana, all that stuff. And I play like a lot of Dark Souls and now Elden Ring, and you know, all that. Like I love fantasy shit.
Yeah.
And just like all, you know, stuff like that in D&D. So I was like, oh man, you know, I'll be a swamp necromancer, or you know, you
I
can
like
be like
that.
a, you know, things like, and you know, you can be like a swamp barbarian or something, you know, things of that nature. But like Jai said too, mixing it with horror movies, because that's very it's always like a underlying factor in the band, is like be horror, you know, that
Yeah.
whole aspect of it, especially the campy vibe of it,
Mhm.
like Evil Dead and Hatchet and movies like that. You know, they know how to have fun while still making a good horror movie, you know.
Absolutely.
And that's what we try to do too. Like the music itself is serious, all the aspects of it like that are serious, but we have fun with it. We're not taking ourselves serious, almost like Metalocalypse too, you know.
Yeah,
it knows how to
exactly.
poke fun at itself at the same
Mhm.
time, while taking
Exactly.
itself, like knowing its shit on the subject, you know.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And you know, knowing your shit and then also being able to have fun, kind of the same vibe as like LaVeyan Satanism and stuff to the general public. Like they like
Yeah.
to poke fun at religion, and I love that about them. People are like, well, if you're not devil worshiping Satanist, then why do you have a Baphomet statue? And it's like, so you can fuck off. Like, like
Yes, that is goddamn. That's like we have that issue sometimes where people are just like, okay, so people who would be fans of the band like the music say y'all are too satanic for me, but then say like super hardcore Satan worshipers will be like, y'all making fun of us. So it's like we deal with that shit too. So yeah, you hit the fucking nail on the head on that one.
Yeah, and that's like the fun thing about it, though. Other than, you know, the Netflix situation where they had the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, they had the same statue as the Church of Satan or the Satanic Temple in their show, and they were basically invoking and like quoting, let's see, replicating the acts of theotic Satanism. And, you know, the Satanic Temple is like, hey, no. That's not what we do. Take it off your show. They're like, we don't have to. And then there was a whole freaking, I don't know if it ever went to court, but I know that they, like the Satanic Temple got super fucking pissed at that. And they're like, yo, take it out of your show. That's not what we do. Fuck off. And Netflix was like, oh, yeah, fine. And they finally did it over time. So, I mean, that's really what matters in the end. But like, that's been a thing since Anton LaVey started it, you know, not to get into a whole like whole tangent about that, but it seems to apply to the conversation now. So it's like, it's just funny to think about that people are like, oh, you don't sacrifice babies or lambs. We're like, no, dude, we don't even believe in God.
It's ridiculous. And okay, if you ask my opinion, I won't speak for everybody in the band, but if you ask my opinion, religion is a joke.
Yes.
And being a Satanist is a religion. So it's a joke.
Exactly.
That's my take on it. I was like, fuck you, dude. I do whatever the fuck I want because I'm going to die and I'm going to rot in the ground and become nutrients for the earth. And that's it. Like, I don't believe that there is anything. And I know that's whatever. That's the way that I feel about it. I'm just like, religion, I think, fucks up a lot of things.
It does. Oh, absolutely. And I think this is going to make the podcast a juicy episode for sure. So I'm kind of glad I'm having this type of conversation with the band, because by all means, I do not believe in worshiping deities. I do not believe in tributing to deities. But personally, I'm like Ostricher, and I'm also Levian Satanist, but I've always treated religion like sports teams. I'm like, yeah, they're all there. They're all there, but I'm more like, go Vikings, go Anton LaVey.
Yeah.
And, you got like Christ, you got Mormons. I'm like, well, the Mormons is basically a cheap college level knockoff of the card. Like, let's see. What's a good example? Cardinals, because that's a football team in Arizona. And then there's like another team. I don't know if it's in soccer. The Saints. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. They have the Cardinal too, right?
They have the fleur-de-lis.
Yeah, we have the fleur-de-lis.
Yeah, there you go. So like it's the same fucking thing. It's like a cheap little knockoff, and you're like, it's kind of the same thing, but in a different state. Okay, whatever. Go Cardinals or go that team. Like, that's exactly how I treat religion, because for me, it's like there's no reason, there's no way that there's not anything out there, but either they don't want to fuck with us, they don't care, or they're way too far away to even realize we exist the same way we do them. And I also think that all of the deities in ancient history are actually aliens, and people were so fucking egotistical, like everywhere, absolutely everywhere, that they're like, oh, the gods were actually Indian people. They were like Indian people with 6 arms, or like an Indian lady with big bahugas and a freaking hippo head, or whatever the fuck they were cooking up back then. Or, for Norway, it's like, oh, our god, our Zeus, because fuck Zeus, we have a god that came down, and he looks like an old hermit. He looks like who ended up being Gandalf in Lord of the Rings, because that's what Gandalf is based off of. Like, basically it's like, oh yeah, you have gods, we have gods too. One, he has 2 ravens on his shoulders, and he takes care of the dead. What the fuck does your god do? And it's like it gets as toxic as sports teams.
It's a pissing contest.
It's a pissing contest, exactly.
Yeah.
But I think half of them were fucking aliens, and they were here at one point, if they were. But like, either we killed all of the monsters in ancient history, so we slaughtered all of them, and then like, you know what, this was a mistake, and they just dipped. Like, there's so much that goes into it for sure, and my belief is like very complex, but I like to break it down to, I treat it like sports teams. And go Vikings, go Anton LaVey. The other teams probably exist, but fuck the Christians, that type of thing. Or fuck the monotheists, fuck the single god people, like their team, whatever. I don't like them. They're athlete. He's corrupt. He's kind of touchy with kids, or, some shit like that. It gets topical for sure. But without digging too much more into that, without a doubt. And that was awesome. That was actually really cool tangent that we went into. I actually enjoyed that.
Yeah, I love talking about how much I hate religion.
And I think that's pretty applicable to most bands and counterculture. I'm actually noticing these days a lot more people in general. You know what I mean? People are like, yo, there's probably no one up there, bro. You're just going to church.
I wish the whole world would do that, because there's like fucking, especially like in my family personally, there's people who are homosexual that are, very close to me and my family, and then other people in my family will just shun them. And it's like, that's awful. Not like, it's like you're really going to abandon like your blood for a fucking dude in the sky who's jerks his dick to the idea of you believing in him. Like, that just
No,
Any
I'm with
fucking
you.
sense.
100%.
It
100%.
really pissed me off. And like wars and yeah.
Wars,
Yeah.
the Crusades, so many have been slaughtered in the name of Christ. And I'm like, my brother in Christ, you're a fucking maniac, bro. Like,
yeah, I don't want to hang out with you. How about that?
I'm good.
Go do your weird dances over there. I'm fucking good.
I don't want to join your Jesus cult. Okay. Like, I'm good. But no, that's awesome. And let's see. So we talked about the name, we talked about the costumes. You said you guys have an EP through Golgothan, right?
We have a lot of EPs, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Leech is our first full length. Every other thing we put out was EPs.
Okay. And let's see. I don't remember seeing any EPs on Spotify at least. So like, are they somewhere else or are they on?
Yeah, they should be under Spotify. I think we have 4 or 5 EPs, something like that.
4.
Oh,
and then a few singles.
Gore Dungeon, Cut Up, Gut Wrench,
Genitalia.
the first one.
Right.
Don't listen to the second one.
Don't listen to the second one.
Oh no. I don't even remember the name of that one.
The Incantation. Yeah,
right.
That was us figuring some shit out, and it didn't work. In my opinion, at least.
All right. Well, yeah, definitely. Yeah, I was not aware of that. I guess I didn't think to look into the singles section, but also I don't know. I don't know what happened. My brain went. But absolutely, we'll be checking out the rest of your discography, except for the Incantation, apparently. So I'll definitely mark that off the list.
Mark that one off.
So I'll definitely be checking out the rest of it. But actually, with that being said, would you guys want to go under the skin of Leech and talk about the lyrical content of it?
Absolutely.
Okay, awesome. So in that case, folks, we will be right back. We are going to go into our under the skin part of the session because I'm deciding to bring that onto the podcast as well for the first time. I think that would be really worth you guys' listening time. So let's go under the skin of Leech. Good. Let's continue it anyway. So welcome to Under the Skin on the Anatomy Podcast. First album that we are doing on the podcast with Jerik and Jai from Golgothan is going to be Leech. This was this your first release through Lacerated Enemy? Or
yes.
Yeah.
Sick. Yeah. So this is our first record that we are dissecting and digging under the skin of through Lacerated Enemy Records. This is Leech. Let's see. Pretty awesome album cover, I have to say. I did enjoy it, and I love that I mistake the giant mosquito for fucking Mothman, but sometimes
that's understandable.
So I kind of want to start off how I usually start off the Under the Skin sessions by asking what is the back of the book summary for the entire record lyrically, if there is one.
At one point, Jerik, we came to a realization about like eating.
Oh yeah, it's a lot of gluttony.
Overindulgence. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It just happened to be like that, though.
Yeah, it wasn't on purpose. Yeah.
And then it's very, like we were saying earlier, like it's all horror movie.
Yeah.
Like if you were to watch
each song, I always try, like with not just on Leech, but any song that we write, is try to tell a horror, like a horror movie tale. And it just never ends well. There's no happy ending usually, right? So
okay. So with that being said, that's the back of the book summary. Let's go ahead and, of course, dig into Leech track by track. First track being The Rack, which rhymed pretty well. What do we got going on here, gentlemen?
So for The Rack, whenever I was a kid, my older sister and I, my mom would take my older sister and I to the mall, and we would play hide and seek, and we would hide in racks of clothes. So the rack is the kid at the rack, and actually this sums up Leech too, because the rack is the intro to Leech, the song Leech. So they're both about the same thing. It's about a kid that's in the mall that goes play hide and seek in the rack of clothes, but when he opens up the rack of clothes to get in it, there's another little boy that's in there that's dead, and like gets him to, like, it's just constantly convincing him to come play with me, come come
Yeah.
in here, but it's just so that he has another dead friend to play with because he's dead and lonely.
Yeah.
Basically.
No, that's
So-
pretty crazy start to the album there. I didn't expect that. And like it's funny too, because I think back on my childhood in which I would do that every now and then. I would hide
You
in
did?
the
I don't know
racks.
if that was just like a Louisiana thing or not, but yeah, we did that shit all the time.
Oh, yeah,
absolutely.
the cops would get called every now and then on
Mhm.
you'd always see the cops at the mall because the kid would get lost and then they pop out. You know, and then-
I was in the rack.
I actually did that a lot at Walmart. Because we, at least at the malls, back from where I'm from in AZ, Superstition, Fiesta Mall, AZ Mills, even Chandler Fashion Square, like I guess you have to be a smaller tyke of a kid to fit into those. So I know there were a couple occasions when I did that, and my parents were like, "Get out of there now!" And like we'd just be fucking around, and me and my siblings would go into there, and we would just. I think actually we would go into our own individual ones, and we'd be like hee or whatever, and then eventually they're like, "Get the fuck out of there, dude! That's closed. People are gonna buy that eventually." And we're like, "Oh yay!" And like as simple as that, we got out. But that's definitely a twisted little twisted little twist, I guess. That's terrible grammar, but little plot twist. There you go. But in that case, going into the Leech or Leech, just Leech, you said that is continuing the story from the rack of just a kid hiding in the rack and finding a dead kid. So where does the story where does the story continue in this song? Like what's going on specifically?
Well, so the rack is kind of a mating ritual, if you will, of like, hey, come play in this rack. Like the intro of the rack is all like getting the kid to go, and then Leech is basically describing him going in, and that was it, and no one ever saw anything from the kid. And yeah, all of them in all of our songs end not happy. There's no
Pretty
happy
bad.
ending to any.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, sometimes metal needs that, and I'm sure.
But depending
plenty of
on the
metal-
viewpoint, I guess.
Yeah. Oh. Well.
Yeah, that's a good point, Jerik, because it might be happy in the kid's
Yeah,
eyes.
if
You know,
you're
he got what
with
he
the
wanted.
monster, yeah.
Yeah. I never even thought about it like that, man. That's a good way of thinking about it. You know what? We write positive songs. Those last
All
matter.
happy endings.
We are a go-to band now. That's great. No, so in that case, this even the title kind of like, yeah, I'm like interested, but I'm also like, what's going to happen with this one? 3 teeth to eat you. What is this about? What is going on here, man?
3 Teeth to Eat You is basically the plot of
Wrong turn.
Jerik, Wrong Turn. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just a bunch of inbred hillbillies in the woods that like just prey on campers and eat them.
Oh,
And hills
See-
have eyes type of stuff. Yeah, like just mute. Just
Ah,
nothing
yeah.
left except for 3 teeth.
So three teeth being their hillbillies and inbreds and have like 3 teeth in their mouth, and it's
Mhm.
3 teeth to eat, like to boil and cook you and eat you.
sick. And I mean, I was at least.
It's a play on
What's up?
it's a play on at least the title was a play on like, what is it, Little Red Riding Hood?
Oh,
It's like the how what pretty teeth you have, the teeth to eat you kind of thing. Like
oh, right. Okay.
it's like just the title of it is like a play on that.
Yeah, no, and I'm actually pretty surprised I guessed it that quick. I'm like, this is about hillbillies, isn't it? Like,
Yeah.
that's great. So yeah, and you said like all of these except for maybe the Rack and Leech, which is one plot, like all of these are just kind of individual horror inspired plots, and like that's just like the whole thing we got going on.
Right.
Thing. Okay. So in that case, track 4, Parent Organism. What the fuck is this about?
Parent organism is there's these, and this part of it's true. There are these communities underneath the railroads in like New York of homeless people
Oh,
where it's pitch black. I've watched a documentary on it. I forgot what it was called. But they built little shanty towns and everything in these like old underground railroads. And so that song is about all those homeless people in the complete pitch black fucking and having babies, and the babies come out and they've mutated to where they don't need to see because it's pitch black, and and they have like this slimy skin,
yeah,
and then they eventually rise to the top and take over, and like the whole reason they take over the people that are living normally, who have money, and it's kind of like the people who have money created their own killer, basically.
Right. And you said there's what's up?
Oh, they threw out the, the vagrants to the, you can't stay here with us. So they went down underground and fucked, and then created this thing that eventually came back up and killed them. Kind of.
Right. So you said there was a documentary on this. Does this reflect things happening recently, or?
No, this was at least 5 years ago whenever I watched the documentary.
Right.
I can't remember what it was called. Dark Days, maybe it was Dark Days. I don't remember. It was a documentary.
Cold Chamber album.
Oh, Cold Chamber.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to look for that now, because that definitely sounds like something that was taken off the internet pretty quickly. Just like, maybe don't have this up on Netflix. Like,
I need to look into it too to see, because I don't remember the name of it, and that wouldn't be the first time that I wrote a song based off of something that I like vividly remember watching a movie or a documentary about, and then come to find out it like didn't exist. But like, I'm pretty fucking sure this one existed, but I was pretty sure one existed about when was it cut up, I think.
No, that's scary. That's terrifying to think about. Like deep underground New York, they're just like, rah, rah, and
yeah,
basically unholy grave birth right there.
Yeah.
But let's see. That's such a plot. I have to look into that now. Gravy Train. This seems a little less serious. What do we got going on here?
Gravy Train is, well, the name came from the dog food Gravy Train, because it's like, dude, your dogs will fucking cum themselves if you get them a Gravy Train. Also, Gravy Train is about a dog food company that isn't doing well with sales, and so they decide to go dig up dead bodies and throw those into the dog food, and then like sales goes off the chart, but then dogs crave human flesh, and then it like creates a whole army of rabid dogs that like, destroy the world.
Oh, that's incredible, man. That's incredible. This is definitely like these are movie plots you guys should be pitching to major companies, bro.
That one actually we just did we started a bass playthrough for the other day.
Oh shit.
And it has my dog, if you can hear him snoring in the background. But we did one before with him, and it was like just perfect that we kind of continue, because like all our videos we want to be as theatrical, like be horror as we can, like that. Same thing with the costumes. We put them on to put on a show. If you're coming see us, like you're gonna get a listen to the album if you want to hear
performance.
If you want to come see us, you're gonna see something.
So yeah,
funny. with the videos and stuff like that, we do try to because we both also do film stuff.
Oh shit.
And so we do things like that, like like this for Gravy Train. It'll be, I mean, we're not making dog food out of me or anything, but yeah, we do have like a dog, in it.
No,
I guess
that's sick. No, that's awesome. But yeah, by all means, like be like, hey, we came up with this idea. Warner Brothers, what do you think? Or A24, what do you think? Like
the problem always is that the ending is not like there's the 3-act structure for film, but the third act is always the resolve.
Yes.
There's never resolve. And like I'm convinced that I can't, like I'm a horrible writer when it comes to like a story. So like they all end horribly. Like nobody wants to watch a movie by the end. They're just like, fuck, man, that sucks. Like everything sucked about that. Well,
yeah.
I wouldn't have watched it. That's the only issue with it. But yeah, I try to like, do what I can idea wise for making it like a B horror movie.
Yeah. No, exactly. So that was Gravy Train. Bottomless Pit is next. What do we got going on here?
Bottomless pit is a guy that's in bed and he's gotten so fat that he can no longer get out of bed to get more food. So he starts eating his own self.
Jesus Christ.
And then, yeah.
Oh, these are amazing. What the fuck? It's like, it's the same. It feels like a very similar gig to bands like Bro Job. But the thing is, it's like, yeah, just a fat guy eating himself to death, or like eating himself after he's not able to get out of bed. Like these are definitely plots that, you know, are cooked up in conversations. It feels like, how do you guys come up with this shit? Like, this is
watching
amazing.
horror movies.
Yeah, for real. No, that's funny. It's pretty self-explanatory. Were there any movies or films or shows even that you saw that specifically inspired Bottomless Pit? Because I know there's a lot of reality TV.
Yeah, there's one thing in particular that I won't say. But secondly, it'd be like maybe Seven. Was it Seven with like Gluttony? Or no, fucking
Yeah, that's it.
No, not Seven. It was the movie where he
Saw?
put everybody Saw.
Yeah, in the little razor wire.
Yes,
Yeah.
that guy. Yeah.
Oh geez. Yeah, I need to watch the Saw movies now. That's funny as shit. Let's see.
It's a quick clip at the first probably 2 minutes of the first movie.
Yeah.
I'll definitely keep that in mind. Next track is Lard Is My Shepherd, which I love this track because it's just such a fucking jab at religion. Just like, Lord, nah, Lard, bro. Lard's more worth it than Lord. Like,
So Lard Is My Shepherd is the sequel of Bottomless Pit. So on Bottomless Pit, he's stuck in bed, so hungry but too fat to get out of bed, so he starts eating himself. By the end of Bottomless Pit, he's eaten enough of himself, which obviously this isn't scientifically accurate, but who gives a fuck? He's eaten enough of it himself to where he is now thin and can get out of bed and is actually very fast, but he has loose dangling skin from him eating himself. And he is craving human flesh because he ate himself. So Lard Is My Shepherd is him running out of his house basically and just chasing down people in the streets to eat him.
Okay. Oh my god. It's like it's like the deathcore version of Rob Zombie over here, bro. Like, this is fucking great. Next track being Winged Death.
Winged Death.
Winged Death, yeah.
Winged Death. Winged Death is basically the cover of the album. So the gigantic mosquitoes. Winged Death is the town that I grew up in, Arnaville, which has a population of like maybe 1,000 people. It might be more now.
Hopefully.
Might be more.
I don't know. But you know, like the mosquito. Actually, I don't know if you know this because have you had to deal with mosquitoes much?
Oh yeah, back in the West, for whatever reason, I'm like, why the fuck are there mosquitoes everywhere? Because there were. And like, we were in a desert. It's just like, what? There's nothing here for them except us. Like, I guess that's their niche, but yeah, no.
Well, they thrive in wet environments, and they hatch their babies in water and shit.
That's what I'm saying.
And we're like, there's nothing but water here, so like they're bad around here.
Especially after a hurricane, good luck walking outside, man. It's
immediately.
Really?
Immediately. It's like
it's terrible.
It's pretty crazy. But so there's mosquito trucks that will drive down the streets regularly around here and spray this fog into the air.
I've heard about that.
Yeah, so it's supposed to deter mosquitoes from, you know, being in that area. It's mostly in the cities. They don't really do it in the small towns and stuff. But basically is the government trying to eliminate the mosquitoes, and I think it's the female mosquitoes.
Yes,
the only one that bites is the female mosquito. Yeah. So it's trying to make like a hybrid mosquito through the fog, or the spraying out the chemicals and shit that will stop them from breeding.
Yes,
but
exactly.
it actually backfires, and they breed gigantic mosquitoes, and then that just destroys all of Arnaville. And there's probably going to be a part 2 of that. There will be a part 2 of that where it goes from Arnaville to like the world,
Louisiana, yeah.
the rest of Louisiana.
The
Yeah,
world.
there'll be 3 parts, and then the world.
Basil's next.
Yeah.
God, that's great. And that's a funny thing too. Like, dude, back in AZ, there was little to no water. It is a fucking desert. So I'm like, why are they out here, bro?
Yeah, that is crazy.
It's ridiculous. Like, I definitely can't say that we get swarmed by them and just immediately when you go outside, just me. But like, it's still awful. And like, my dad would whine about it all the time when we were younger. He's like smacking himself. He's like, "These mosquitoes are awful." Like, and that was just a part of our life. But like, it's
they
just so
suck ass,
strange.
man.
They suck ass and they don't do
They
anything.
suck ass.
They
don't
actually
do
spread disease. Like, they should actually all be burned to death. But whatever.
They are
We're not God.
the world's most deadly animal.
Really?
Yeah. Because they spread
like they beat sharks, bears, all that shit because of the disease.
The disease carrying. Yeah. That makes sense. Actually, I didn't even think about that. Meanwhile, I'm like, but a shark can take your whole fucking arm off. I think that's a pretty bad one, Chief. Like,
dude, fuck sharks.
I'm
horrified of sharks.
Oh, really? My dad is too. Not even kidding. Since
Jaws.
Since he saw the movie Jaws, man, the first night after he saw it, he took a bath and he thought a shark was going to come up and get him. Like, poor bastard, honestly. But no, like it's the reason we never got to go to the beach when I was younger. Because he's like, I'm not even
Steven Spielberg.
No, I'm kidding. Or like, I'm not even kidding. It was like, I'm like, can we go to the beach? He's like, no, son, there are sharks out there. I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm like,
protecting my kids.
Yeah, I'm protecting my children. I'm like 12 years old at the time. I'm like, Dad, it's water. Like, and I had never seen Jaws at that point. He never showed me it.
He was saving you.
Yeah, he was saving me from the terror, the menace that is Jaws. And then they have Meg, the movie The Meg. I don't think he's seen that yet.
I really enjoyed that one, man. I did. I thought it was gonna be bad, but I enjoyed it.
I haven't seen it yet. I actually really want to see it soon because it looks just funny.
It's not like, if you don't take it serious and you just go into it like, oh, whatever. It's like, it's an entertaining movie.
Exactly.
And like, it's a gigantic shark. So,
yeah, it's a gigantic shark that could exist at the very bottom of the ocean, but I think it's going to stay there. So we don't really have anything to worry about. Dad, I'm kidding. So second to last track off of this record, we have Christian Mingle Killer. What the fuck is going on here, man?
The title for that one is I feel like pretty spot on of what it is. It's a serial killer who is on Christian Mingle and he kills Christian women.
Oh, I love that.
And the lyrics are, if you read through the lyrics, they're actually written like a screenplay.
Fine.
To the best of my ability. I've never written a screenplay, so I tried to write it like a screenplay.
Right, absolutely. Well, I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory, and we got The Overlord, which is the final track. What's going on here? I feel like there's a little bit more seriousness to this.
The Lycan Prophecy is the first song that Golgothan ever had, which is about werewolves taking over. And The Overlord is the prequel to that. So it's about basically how the Lycan what's the word I'm looking for?
Came to be.
The Lycan swarm and overtaking the world came to be. Yeah. It's
okay. Yeah, fun. And with that being said, are you a fan of like Resident Evil or any of those types of movies?
Yes.
Yeah.
So along with my dad, let me watch horror movies whenever I was really young. He would let me watch him play Resident Evil Director's Cut and Resident Evil 2, and I would go to bed and just have nightmares just from watching him play this.
Go ahead. All right. So continuing where you left off, you were saying The Overlord was about, it was the prequel to a previous track on a previous release, talking about werewolves taking over the world, inspired from the narrative continuity, Resident Evil, and other titles such as that. So, was there any other commentary that you had for the lyrical content of the Overlord?
Well, actually, I'm interested. I'm interested in knowing why you were asking if I was a fan of Resident Evil.
Because I am.
Well, I know, but like you brought it up whenever I was talking about werewolves taking over and everything. And then you like, so I felt like there was a thought there that you had, and I was interested.
Well, I think I just realized this. I was confusing Resident Evil with the Underworld series.
Ah, okay, yeah.
Also a great movie.
Also a great movie, and also yes, very much inspired by. I think the Underworld series was the first time I heard the word lichen.
Right. Yeah. No, it's a great movie series.
Also, the Wolfman is just fucking the Wolfman with Benicio del Toro and Anthony Hopkins.
Oh, okay.
The chef's kiss of a werewolf movie.
Dog Soldiers.
Dog Soldiers.
Yeah, definitely got to add some more to my list. Like that, those all sound like pretty intriguing titles. But yeah, that will actually be wrapping up the Under the Skin session, and basically close to wrapping up the Anatomy podcast session tonight with Jerik and Jai from Golgothan, releasing their record Leech through Lacerated Enemy Records pretty recently now. It still hasn't been that long since you guys have released this album. Has the feedback been pretty good?
Yeah, it's all been great so far. I mean, from the sites that post it, I mean, they've said pretty. I mean, you get a little bit of everything, but yeah, for the most part, yeah, pretty good.
Absolutely, that's awesome. With that being said, do you guys have anything that you want to plug or give a shout out to, whether homies in the scene, just telling people to listen to the record, all that fun stuff? Like, throw it at the audience by all means. Throw like a ragdoll body.
We have Twitch that we do every day during the week. Every member takes a day of the week. We'll play different games. We have one member who cooks. He's a chef in real life. So I say in real life, but outside of the band.
Right.
But he'll do like a little cooking tutorial thing once a week.
Right.
He's in Italy, so not for the next month. But yeah, we all take a day during the week. So we do that. We have vinyls coming out for the album, which should be in pretty soon. We got test presses in and they sound great. Besides that, yeah, Lacerated's great, and we're working on our next full length.
Sick. Yeah, awesome. And do you have anything to say? Do you have anything to throw in there, Jai?
No, I think Jerik pretty much got it. Jerik, yeah, I trust Jerik on these things. He handles all of our social media and everything.
That makes absolute sense. Yeah, I mean, after all, we have been the ones that have been communicating and getting this together, have we not?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes absolute sense.
Yes. So if you message us, hi.
Hi, hello. My name is Jerik.
It's me.
I am the beautiful face from Brazil.
Yeah. There you go. But by all means, gentlemen, I do appreciate the quite lengthy time that you gave me tonight, now being an hour and a half, basically. That's crazy. It's actually the longest session that we have done so far. But of course, we also implemented the Under the Skin portion of the podcast, which I think I'll be doing from now on, depending on the ratings. People, please provide a rating down below. Let me know, like, if you want me to continue doing that, because if so, then that means less editing. That means I can compact everything in one go. It'll be just easier all around. But by all means, gentlemen, at some point in the future, say closer to your next release, if you guys want to, I would be more than happy to have the rest of Golgothan on the podcast to tell their story as well. But until that point in the future, thank you guys for stopping by tonight, telling your story, offering your perspective, your opinions, digging under the skin of your newest record through Lacerated Enemy Records, Leech. And yeah, thank you guys, and be sure to enjoy your night.
All right, thanks for having us, man.
Of course.